Hi class, we're going to do homework 6. Now this is not a full explanation, but I do need to explain correlation to you. So it's the same type of thing that you've seen before. Data is slightly different, but we're going to do the same sort of thing, but a little bit different. So I'm going to grab data from a file, from an Excel workbook, and then I'm just going to grab it from my downloads. I have the data set that is in the homework 6. And you'll see here under my downloads, I got US videos -2. That's the data set we're working with. I'm going to hit import, and then we're going to do a transform. There we go, sheet 1, transform this data. I'm going to get rid of the change type because sometimes we have issues with that. And now I'm just going to get rid of any columns that I don't want, same as we've done before. We're going to remove any columns that are not necessary. All these columns are unnecessary. Okay. Then from here, we're going to do the same kind of work that we've done before, where we're looking at this data and we want to make sure that it is whole number data, and we're going to remove any errors. This one is whole number data, and we're going to remove any errors. Same thing here. Whole number, remove errors, whole number, and remove errors. Right? And then from here, we're going to do based on, we can just do it based on title, or we can do it channel and title. We're going to group by, and we're going to do the same thing we've done before. We have views, likes, dislikes, and comments. And all these are going to be sums. Sums of views, sums of likes, sums of dislikes, sums of comment count. Alright, click OK. We should be good, and we're going to close and load that data. So now we can do all the same things that we've done before, where we work with our views and likes and stuff like that. But there's also another thing that we have to do for homework 6, and that is provide a correlation. And while we're at it, I'm also going to show you how to add a correlation column, simple correlation column. So let's start with that one. I'm going to do a correlation column, not correlation column, I'm sorry, ratio column. So we're going to do a simple like to dislike ratio. I'm going to call it L divided by D. So we're not going to do like a standard ratio, which would look like one number colon another number. And the reason is because our numbers are so large that oftentimes the greatest common denominator is, or greatest common divisor is 1. So going to ignore that. Instead, we're going to do a real simple just likes to dislikes division. So for some of these things, we're going to get an error. That's okay. For those things that we get an error, we can just remove them entirely, because you can't divide it by 0, and that happens sometimes. All right, so this is simple. It's equals likes divided by dislikes. And it should fill it out for all of them. Now, if we do a quick sort smallest to largest, that's good. We don't have any issues there. Excellent. All right, let's do a quick sort largest to smallest. There we go. You see these are all dividing by 0. We don't need any of that, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to highlight these, and I'm going to change these to just delete those out of there. So now they're just null. There's nothing in those. And that's fine. we don't need that. We don't need that data. All right. So with that done, I've created my likes and dislikes, and I can use the same pivot table that I used for what's it from the class assignment. So here we go. I can sort smallest to largest, largest to smallest, and I'll get that information here. All right. I can also do correlation. Now correlation is, and then I can also pull my average and things like that in my pivot table. Now correlation is a little different. It's its own function. And so we're just going to do a simple correlation between views and comments. And so I'm going to step one step out of here because I don't want to add this to the table. And so this correlation is going to be equals correl. All right. And all we have to do is just grab the arrays for this. I'm going to do sheet 1 views. We can also pick all the way down at the bottom of our sheet, so we could scan the entire thing. Let's just try to do it with as the table wants us to look and see if that works. So that's the first array. The second array is going to be comments. Let's see if that works. Nope, can't do that. That doesn't like us pulling that. So we're going to have to actually use the full column. So to do this, we're going to, if we select the top area, it's going to try to select the table view, and I don't have to deal with that right now. So I'm going to select C3, and then I'm going to hit Control-Shift down arrow. That's going to select everything below C3, and then I can come up here and just manually type in C2. That gives me that. Come to the end, hit comma, do the same thing for comments. Click there, Control-Shift down, that selects everything down there. Come up here, let's change this to F2. Close my parenthesis, okay, and I get a correlation. So what this is the correlation coefficient. Okay, type that in here. Correlation coefficient. All right, and what this says is basically this ranges from -1 to 1. This ranges from -1 to 1, and the more negative it is, it implies an inverse correlation. So if it is -1, that means as one thing goes up, the other one goes down. As it approaches 1, that means as one of them goes up, the other one goes up. That's a perfect correlation, or a perfect inverse correlation. A 0 is no correlation. It means they're not related to one another at all. So a 0.69, if we think of it sort of as a percentage, which it is and it isn't, that means that it is basically more correlated than not. It's a good correlation. It's not perfect or anything like that, but it does mean that likes and comments do describe each other to a certain extent. For our purposes of demonstration, I'm going to do one more correlation. We're just going to do between views and likes and see if that correlation is greater. So I'm just going to do a simple correlation between views and likes. I could probably put in the correlation function, that would help me. And likes, that's actually going to be 2. See, we got, those are even more highly correlated. So that makes sense as well. I don't need that data, though. I only need it for the correlation that we already did. So that information, along with the rest that is required in the sheet, is what I want to see. You need to submit the Excel spreadsheet as well as a document that explains your findings.
Maximum volage, minimum volage. Maximum voltage.